Good morning, it's Stephanie Weaver here in the quarantine kitchen in San Diego with Microwave Boy on the camera. Good morning, Microwave Boy.
Hello, Steph.
I'm the author of the Migraine Relief Plan. I'm a cookbook writer, recipe developer, speaker, and coach, and I've been doing these videos for what seems like a year now, but I think this is only the third week. And so first of all, I just want to do a shout out to all the healthcare workers, the first responders, the people in hospitals and clinics doing, sanitation and food service and all those other really critical jobs, people working in the senior housing and care industry, first responders, and everybody else who's an essential worker, people who are running grocery stores, working in groceries, doing deliveries, bringing us food. We really appreciate all of you, and we know that you're out there every day, and we're doing our part by staying home. So we just wanted to say thank you and shout out to all of you. Second, I just want to talk for a minute about kitchen safety. Somebody wasn't paying attention last night when she was cutting her lettuce, of all things. Cut my finger pretty badly. Thankfully, not badly enough to need to go anywhere. But always good to have a bunch of first aid supplies at home. And found out all of our Band-Aids are really old, so that's why there's masking tape on top of the Band-Aid. Classy, right? But just take a moment. If you're using sharp implements, please pay attention, be present, because you don't want to have to go to a clinic and use resources right now. Obviously, I also don't want you hurting yourselves. I will be fine, but it's just a reminder. Pay attention. Okay, so today we are making chicken broth, bone broth, chicken stock. It's called by a bunch of names. In culinary terms, stock and broth are different, but it's okay. We're just going to go with it. So this is my handy dandy slow cooker, which I'm going to turn to low. And this is one of those dead easy recipes that hopefully you use a lot of. So this is what we lovingly call our bone bag. It lives in the freezer. It's a gallon size zip top bag. And in it we put all of the bones from whatever chicken we eat. And if I happen to buy like an order of pork ribs, I throw those in there too when they're done. Also the tops from green onions or leeks, the bottoms of onions when you cut the root off, as long as you've pre-washed it and there's no mold on that. You can also use scrubbed carrot peelings to add flavor. You can also add vegetables to this, but I don't even bother.
So what's in there in your bag right now?
What's in right here right now is a carcass from a rotisserie chicken, and then a whole bunch of drumsticks. I don't want to gross people out, but a whole bunch of frozen drumsticks because I make drumsticks for Microwave Boy on a pretty regular basis. And so all of that, so when we have a full bag, it's all just going right in there, and then this bag, which has been frozen, is going right back in the freezer. Okay, so I have basically about, this is I think a 6-quart, should have checked, but I think it's a 6-quart slow cooker, turned on to low. Just going to add a couple of other things. So like a little handful, maybe a teaspoon of black peppercorns go in there, and 3 bay leaves. We happen to have them growing in our yard, but you buy bay leaves. I always use 3 because you always want to fish them out later, and if I always use 3, I know I need to find 3.
There's always one that gets away.
There's always one that gets away, but bay leaves can get caught in people's throats because
Yeah.
they're sharp, so you want to be careful. And then the only other ingredient, no salt. You don't add salt to this because you want your broth to be salt-free, so you are not adding something salty to other meals. 2 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar. And you might be asking, Microwave Boy, why is she adding vinegar to this?
Why would you add vinegar to
Does it taste like vinegar? No, it does not. What the vinegar does is it draws the collagen and gelatin out of the bones. That's what's so good in terms of nutrition for us. And so just 2 tablespoons, it gets dispersed over time, and then it will be about 4 quarts, so 16 cups of filtered water, basically just to fill it up, which I'm not going to do right now. But and then lid on. You want to leave it on low, and I cook this for 48 hours. Makes the house smell amazing. Drives the dog crazy.
She camps out next to the crack.
Yeah, she camps out, basically like waiting to see what's going to happen. But then you want, after it's all done, and you can do 24 hours, but trust me, 48, it's incredible. You get this really rich golden broth, which I then use to make soup. I use it to make all my grains. You can even, if you wanted to cook beans in it, you could, although that would be a little bit of a waste. You can just heat up a cup, add some curry powder, add some sea salt. It's delicious. If you're not feeling well, if you're under the weather, it's a fantastic tonic for that, and couldn't be easier. And also, since we went back to eating some animal products a couple years back, we really want to be respectful of those animals and use every bit of nutrition that they're providing to us. So this is a way to do that.
So what is some of that nutrition that you get out, especially from bones?
Yeah, so you're getting collagen and gelatin, which are the building blocks of all of our cells.
Mm-hmm.
Keeps your skin looking great. My nails have never been stronger since I started doing this. And then it's a great source of protein. It's very low calorie. If you're following a low carb diet or a keto diet, this is one of the staples, and people will spend a lot of money to make this. And as you can see, it's basically all stuff that normally would just be getting thrown out. Once it's all done, I strain it into jars, refrigerate those jars, skim the fat off the top if there's any fat. It depends on the cuts of meat and how much fat was left. If there's a lot of skin in there, we'll get some fat off that. I then cook with that fat, which is called chicken schmaltz, fantastic on roasted potatoes. And then once those have refrigerated, then a couple of them might go up in the freezer, a couple of them in the fridge, and then I use them to make my recipes.
So you're using like mason jars?
Mason jars or anything that, so actually...
Because it's going to be a little bit hot, right?
Yeah, you want something so this is what the jars look like. So these are Canon quality, so they don't crack if you're putting something hot in them. You also want to leave what's called headspace, so about an inch at the top, because if you're going to freeze them, the liquid will rise, and you don't want this jar, which is very sturdy, to crack. I have done that before. It is very sad because these are not cheap. So that's how I freeze them, and then I'll set that on the counter to thaw. It takes most of the day to thaw if I leave it on the counter, or you can put it in the fridge to thaw. And then I might be making I have this great meatballs and rice Instant Pot recipe that I use the broth for. It makes incredible brains, and it also is a fantastic base for soups. So
how many of those jars do you think you'll get out of this?
So if I start with, that's a great question. So if I start with 16 cups of liquid, I usually end up with about 12 cups, so about 3 of these jars, because you are getting evaporation, and of course there's bones and stuff that are taking up some of that space. So so about 4 cups or so of the water ends up evaporating, which we want because we want this to be really rich and delicious and really nutrient dense. So thank you so much for watching. If you find this useful, we have a whole series of quarantine kitchen videos. You can share the whole series. Please share this one just so other friends of yours know that it's happening. And if you're following or watching this on YouTube, please follow me on Facebook, Stephanie Weaver, MPH. Sounds like miles per hour, but it stands for Masters of Public Health. You can also follow me at SWeaverMPH on Twitter and Instagram and other social media channels. And we'll look forward to seeing you guys again soon. Thanks. Bye.